If I were to tell you the game you're about to witness has aliens, drugs, and even fish giving birth, what game comes to mind? Probably not a lot, if any at all. The first two maybe count for a lot of different games, but the third one throws a lot of people off. Do you have a guess? Probably not. Think back several, and I mean like a decade at least, years ago, and maybe you could think of what it is. Still don't have any clues? Well, this game was on a CD. You know, the fun old days where you had to put a CD into your computer in order to play the video game. This is Insane Aquarium. A game, much like its title, is kind of insane. And if you continue to watch, I'll show you why.
Just play adventure mode. Feed me! Click on the tank to drop food for your fish. Yeah, you don't want them to die. Fear me! Use the mouse to zap aliens. So this guy, I'm pretty sure, is just supposed to be the actual alien from the movie Alien. And that was the wildest thing to me, now that I'm thinking about it, because I never realized that before when I was a kid. Collect all 3 pieces of an egg to advance the level and gain a new pet. Click here to continue.
So if that intro wasn't clear, your main goal is to feed the fish, let them grow, they make money for you, which you can use to buy upgrades, varying from multiple things I'll be going to details about in a moment. Your main goal, though, is to grow enough fish to make enough money in order to hatch your eggs, which give you pets, each of which give you different abilities, and I'll be talking about those more later. Level 1 was simply just buying fish and making money until you had enough to crack the egg. As it was a tutorial level, it was just trying to teach us things. So let's go ahead and move on to the next level, after I describe to you what we got.
I got the snail! Stinky the snail. Stinky roams around the bottom of your tank, catching fish. Wait a minute. Catching any coins you may have missed. Your game has been saved. Click here to continue. I think I will.
Real quickly, I'd like to go over each of the pets and how they work exactly, as well as the rating I give them based on their abilities. I also made it a point to try each one of these characters at least once, as I don't remember exactly how all of them work, and I actually got some interesting information off of some of them. So, Stinky. How do I put this? He collects coins for you. Yay! You can automate your system. But unfortunately, he's really slow. I mean, he is a snail after all, but even for a snail, you'd think in a fantasy setting like this, he could be a little faster than that. Honestly, he's not that helpful, and pretty much at the beginning when I was able to replace him, I did. Okay, so looking back at some of this footage now, he's not as bad as he could have been, but I will admit I still did replace him because they were significantly better. But as a starting unit, he could have been worse, so I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
Whoa, hold up, don't die. I just started, you can't die now. On this level, you'll need to meet your first alien opponent. Ah, no!
Yep, your first alien opponent. In a fish tank. Why are there aliens in my own fish tank? I don't get it. Whatever. This first alien, though, is basically the alien from Alien. Honestly, he's not much to write home about. He's just the generic alien from the movie Alien, pretty much, as a sea form. But otherwise, all he really does is walk around trying to kill your fish, and as long as you shoot him on the opposite side of where you don't want him to go, then you can keep him away from your fish quite easily. And even at that rate, he doesn't kill them very quickly, meaning he doesn't do much. Just like a... Excuse my die. Definitely not a secret agent trying to keep their identity hidden at all. No, definitely not. No. This is also the first time we've been able to upgrade our food type and our amount of food that we can serve at one time, allowing us to keep more fish alive at once rather than only being able to feed one at a time. The first level looks like a little brown chip. I don't know, like, personally, it looks like a little Gardetto's rye garlic chip. Those things are amazing. But also, am I not right there? The second level of food is this green pellet. In all honesty, I'm not really sure what it's made of, but it definitely looks like something you would feed to your pets. It helps your fish grow quite a bit faster, but honestly, you don't stay on this level for very long, as the next level costs the exact same amount it just costs you to upgrade to this level. The last, but definitely not the least food, is the, as my wife would call it, performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah, don't ask me what's in these things, but they're just your standard white and red pill, and they make these guys grow quite quickly, only needing about 2 or 3 per size, whereas some of the other ones would need 4 or 5, depending on your luck. That pretty much sums up level 2, so it's time to move on to our next pet. Let's see what we got.
You have found Nico, the oyster. Nico produces pearls that you can click on for a nifty sum of money.
Yeah, you heard that right. Nico. Nico the Clam. Clam is our second character we're getting today, and it gives us $200 per pearl it creates. Oh yeah, it creates multiple pearls, not just the one. However, it is a relatively slow process to collect these pearls, as they don't spawn very often. So with that, I'm going to reduce the points by just a little bit. But honestly, as a starting character, this one is very powerful, and allows you to get some easy fish early on. I give it a 7 out of 10, out of at least these starting characters.
Your game has been saved. Click here to continue. Sure. You can't already be almost dead. I just started. That's rude.
Just like many of the other levels, Level 3 changes up the rules a bit by adding something new. In this case, we get carnivorous fish. Well, these aren't that hard to maintain per se, but you do have to make sure you have extra guppies on hand, as their main source of food is your smallest fish. But it is all worth it in the long run, as they produce diamonds at about double the pace the original fish do, so it makes them very powerful. Diamonds are also worth 200 points each, making them extremely valuable. This level also introduces us to the upgrading system of the ray gun, our alien blaster that we use for the rest of the game. With these upgrades, we can get several things from different colors, to new abilities, to definitely making it stronger. However, if you max it out to the max level of 10, you get an auto fire, which makes things so much more easy, because having us click there, stand there and click the button so many times, my finger's already hurting, and I'm only about halfway through the game at this point. Not right now, but in total. Alrighty, and with that, there's not really much else to mention, so let's move on to Pet 3 after beating this level.
Later levels still have way more HP than that. I know that for sure. You found Itchy the Swordfish. Itchy helps you by attacking aliens when they appear.
Alrighty, it's time for Judge That Pet! And as you can tell, we're probably not going to be too excited about this one. But hear me out a little bit. This guy is a swordfish. His main goal is to attack monsters and deal damage, and he is pretty quick. Now, with that being said though, his attack speed is actually a lot slower than his swim speed, which is not what you'd expect, and the only reason I say that is because there's a couple of later game ones that are pretty much way better than this one, and you'll get to them eventually. I'll give him a mid-tier 4 out of 10, because honestly, there's better. The only new thing that happened in this level was we had this like tiger shark type alien attack us, but other than him looking different and maybe having a little bit more HP, he's not really any different than the alien himself. And he doesn't even have a special title either. I suppose that means it's time to get on to our next fish companion. I'm sorry this level wasn't longer, but honestly it was rather boring and just kind of replaying the lost level again. But here's our next hero.
Okay, I knew this was a character, but I didn't know they just straight up called it Prego, the mama fish. Preggers. No, anyways, yeah. Prego helps populate your tank by giving birth to new baby guppies every so often.
No, I'm not talking about Prego, the pasta. I'm talking about Prego as in pregnancy. You know, the thing when your mama has a baby. Ask them about it. Honestly, I'm not really sure how they were able to make this into a character. I mean, not very hard, of course, but just seems strange for a kid's game, you know? Anyways, its abilities are plain and simple. About every 25 seconds, this character becomes extra pregnant and births out a baby. The ones that cost $100, so they're cheap and easy, but she makes it to where I don't have to buy extra of them, and it allows me to feed my piranha population a little bit. Not bad, all things considered. Now, it is a little slow, but 25 seconds is a lot faster than some of the other abilities in this game, so we're going to take it. Honestly, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and the only reason that is because later in the game, there are other fish that can use this ability, but for early game, it's kind of busted. From this point onward though, we had to select only 3 of our chosen pets. At this moment, it's not a big deal as the last one that we got was one I'll probably be using for a little while. However, with that being said, we need to be careful about our choices, as I am enforcing a self-inflicted rule of always using our newest ally to make sure that I understand exactly how they work. That means I'm only really going to have 2 choices at any one time outside of the one that I'm already going to be picking. This choice isn't very hard though, as we just pick everyone but the snail, as I said before, the only one I decided to get rid of immediately as I was able to. With all that being said though, this level was fairly normal and not much changed. Other than the selection of the characters, we just had to collect money, grow our fish, have a few births, and collect more money, as well as kill aliens, but none of those are new yet, so I guess nothing really unique happened in this level.
Oh, are you serious? Bro, they took out so many fish. That was rude.
Yeah, so that was the first occasion of me getting a double spawn, and like the only one I've had so far. So I don't know if it's a rare event or what, but these guys ate like half of my fish, which was annoying. But we picked ourselves back up, repopulated, and moved right along.
There we go, another character. Zorf, the seahorse. Zorf gives you a hint keeping your fish fed. Oh yeah, I forgot he just creates food automatically. I don't think it's that fast.
Zorf, in theory, sounds really good. He gives you free food that you don't have to spend, and it's also at a level 2, meaning that it progresses your fish quite quickly. Or one would hope. The problem with Zorf is the fact that he only produces one food every like 45 seconds, which is significantly slower than just creating more children with Prego. Yeah, tell me how that makes sense? I don't know. But honestly, with that being the fact that he only makes food every so often, I'd say he's like a 3. Because I could easily just make it to level 2 in slightly faster progress than it would take me to have this guy just grow all my fish. They'd probably die long before he'd actually feed them all successfully. At the end of each chapter, there's a bonus round where you can collect things like silver and gold tokens, as well as shells, and even a bag of seashells. What are these used for? Oh, that's easy. They are used to buy permanent upgrades in your own personal aquarium, which I'll get to later. I have noticed one thing though. Whenever you collect an item and then collect the exact same form of that item again, it doubles the score. So next time when I try it, I'll make sure to try and do it in the exact correct order to give me as many possible shells as I can. To get these bonus pets, because honestly, I don't know that I've ever collected them personally. I thought there was way too many to get and just kind of gave up. But with that, I say this episode is coming to a close. With that, we put a close on episode 1 of Insane Aquarium. I hope you've been enjoying the games that I do go back and play from my childhood, as it's been quite a fun series, and a lot of nostalgia's come back to me. I have several other games planned for the future, and might even do a different game next week, rather than repeating this one. But we'll see. I have a lot more footage and a lot more things I'd like to do with it. But it's been a long night, and I think I'm going to get some rest. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later.